really nice option particularly for the younger women.
As far as Kate's dress is concerned, if it is Alexander McQueen, what will that mean for whichever house it is?
I just think this is going to be the dress of the century. I mean, really, all eyes are on this moment when Kate steps out of the car, and that designer's reputation will be sealed going forward. I mean, the exciting thing, if it is Sarah Burton, is an incredible retrospective of McQueen in New York in just 3 days' time. So really, this will be the best news for the House of McQueen if she does decide to wear this dress.
And very briefly about Sally Burton, if you would.
Sarah Burton, she's 36 years old. She's a graduate of Central St. Martin's, which has produced some of the world's greatest designers from these shores. So it'll be an amazing moment for her. What I love about Sarah is she's a young woman. She's brilliant at talking to. She'll be the perfect person to work with someone like Kate, because I think on this kind of day you don't want the dress to wear you. So she's incredibly collaborative, as we've seen on a lot of the creations she's made previously. And in fact, when McQueen was dressing Sarah Parker Bowles and other brides, she's been the one who's actually fitted the dresses, so she's used to this process already.
A very good morning to you wherever you're watching in the world. This is Sky News live from London, where in just 1 hour's time Prince William of Wales will marry his fiancée and his girlfriend of 7 years, Kate Middleton. We'll be watching two people come together. We're also witnessing today a country coming together in much celebration. A timely reminder, I suppose, that it doesn't matter how uncertain times are that we live in, there seems to be more to unite people than divide us. Goring Hotel, that's where the bride-to-be is preparing, and in about 45 minutes' time she will be leaving there. Clarence House, just down the mall from where our studio is situated, is where the groom spent last night with his best man and brother, Prince Harry. There is the Deputy Prime Minister, Nick Clegg, with his wife making his arrival up the red carpet. And so many of the dignitaries already inside their. Kay Birdie, you're watching those arrivals. What stage are we at there?
Yeah, we can see the leader of the Liberal Democrats, also known as the Deputy Prime Minister, of course, Nick Clegg, just arriving with his wife, and I think Ed Miliband just behind. As far as Ed Miliband is concerned, Lucy, I believe that he didn't own a morning suit, so he had to hire one from Moss Bros. Cost him £55. Not sure if he's got a waistcoat on, we'll see in a second, but it's an extra tenner if he wanted a waistcoat. And the Prime Minister on his way as well.
I think there's been I think Moss Bros has hired out quite a few morning suits, but we know for certain that David Cameron will probably have had one in his wardrobe already. And Miriam Gonzalez, Nick Clegg's wife, obviously is looking incredible. I mean, I think that's definitely the sexiest outfit of the day so far.
Yeah, poor old Fionn. I didn't realise that she'd hurt her leg, but we can see from that image that she is, of course, with the Foreign Secretary, William, her husband.
Absolutely. God, that brings a whole new challenge to your wardrobe.
I'm not sure.
But I hear the Countess of Wessex also had a riding accident on Monday and has broken a couple of ribs. So maybe this is a new fashion we're seeing.
We saw her limping actually yesterday when she was going into a royal dinner at the Mandarin Oriental.
Absolutely. I think she's still planning to wear her Bruce Oldfield dress, though. I mean, she was very keen. Because obviously her daughter's a bridesmaid, so I don't think anything would have kept her from today.
What did we think about Miriam Gonzalez's outfit?
I mean, super sexy. I mean, the wolf whistles that went up as she got out of the car was something else. But that hat, a real flash of colour. I think when you're wearing an outfit that's in a black or a grey, I think adding that hit of colour with those incredible blooms is really important.
Very difficult for Fionn today.
I know, that's a tough look to sport.
And I think the Prime Minister's actually just arriving behind us. Not sure if you want us to move out of the way at the same time. There we go. Prime Minister just arriving in his Jaguar. Hopefully we'll see for the first time whether Mrs Cameron has gone with the hat or not.
I know. I think what's for certain is that she's a massive supporter.
Let's listen to the cheer.
we can see no hat.
Yeah.
She's played to type and has defied wearing a hat, but there do seem to be some flowers in her hair, so maybe that's her way of playing along with the tradition. But a beautiful emerald green outfit, I think, by Erdem, which was made especially for today. He's one of our great British designers, so again, it's wonderful to see her championing such fantastic talent.
And accompanied by a burnt orange scarf as well.
Yes, colour blocking is huge for this summer, and so clashing of bright colours is very much the fashionable thing to do. So I think, as ever, Sam Cam, bang on trend as always.
And when do we decide whether it's flowers in your hair and when is it a fascinator?
I think it depends whether you do it yourself or someone else does it for you.
Okay.
But on the subject of flowers, I think Kate, obviously we know, originally had wanted to wear flowers in her hair, but apparently that was nixed, apparently by Camilla, who said she really needed to wear a tiara. So that's the other big question of the day, which tiara will Kate go for?
Yeah, the big argument, Alistair, I believe, is whether she should keep it real or keep it royal.
And one of the big questions of the day on the fashion stakes, I think Sarah Hughes will be able to answer.
Yes, Mrs. Middleton, the mother of the bride, what will she be wearing? Well, we can tell you she's going to wear a sky blue wool crepe coat dress with matching satin piping at the waist and cuff over a sky blue silk Shantung Sydney day dress with short pleated sleeves and pleated pockets. The dress and coat dress are by Catherine Walker. I think we've seen Kate Middleton wearing some Catherine Walker over the past few weeks, and her hat is by a Berkshire-based designer, Jane Corbett. And of course, that very fitting, the Middletons are themselves from Berkshire. So we'll be seeing Mrs. Carol Middleton wearing sky blue by Catherine Walker and a hat by Jane Corbett.
And it really is.
Walker was a great favourite of Diana's.
She was
she?
indeed.
Yeah, very great favourite.
You did deliver that news with great relish, Sarah, and truly women, by and large, are really interested in that. Yes, that is something.
Well, you can imagine, as the mother of the bride, any mother of the bride
Yes.
agonises over their outfit. But if you are the mother of a future princess, and there are 2 billion people around the world watching you, and Carol Middleton hasn't always had the best press, so it will have been very, very nerve-wracking for her choosing her outfit. And there have been various stories in the press about whether she'd chosen one and then she decided she didn't like that one. Well, anyway, we now know she's gone for Catherine Walker.
Good. We wish her well. I hope she looks lovely. She tends to look lovely. They look like three sisters as opposed to a mother and
They do,
two
very
daughters
glamorous.
sometime. Alistair Bruce is, there's Elton John. Well, we can spot him. He's easy to spot, Alistair.
Yes, he sat next to the Lord Lieutenant of London, Sir David Brewer, who's just on his right. And we now have all the major quantity of the guests in, because the Prime Minister's now arrived, that we're well into now the formal senior guests. They've got the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister with Samantha Cameron, and in the stalls around the choir area of this upper part of the Abbey, around what's known as the theatre.
Attention now switches from the Abbey to the Mall. So many thousands of people lining the route here. What you're seeing there is the entrance to St James's Palace, which Clarence House is in there. Lorna Dunkley watching that with an eagle eye for us, Lorna, because very shortly the man of the moment should be making an appearance.
He certainly should, Eamon. Good morning to you. Yeah, 3 or 4 minutes time, and they are really getting excited, both sides of the road down here on the Mall. Some of those people over there have been here for 2 nights, 2 very cold nights. Prince William spending his last night at Clarence House with his brother, his father as well, and stepmother are inside. There's been an awful lot of comings and goings, and one of the most interesting ones, I think, we saw a couple of hours ago. Mike Tindall, of course, there is another royal wedding this year, isn't there? Mike Tindall left Clarence House this morning, so we were rather wondering whether they had a boys' night in there last night. Who knows? But yeah, all of the foreign dignitaries, the ambassadors, heads of state, have been coming into Clarence House in the last hour and then shipped out in minibuses to go to where Kay is at the Abbey. You can get a glimpse of what Prince William will be wearing actually from outside Clarence House, the famous red tunic of the Irish Guards. He won't be wearing the bearskin. Lots of people have asked me that. It's just a simple cap that he's wearing, but he'll also wear a garter sash of the RAF, of course, currently serving as an officer, helicopter pilot with the Search and Rescue Force in Anglesey. So he'll wear a garter sash of the RAF and his gold Jubilee medal. He will come out with his brother. Wonder if he's prepared his speech, what he'll be saying, whether we'll actually get to hear what he will say. Prince Harry wearing his Blues and Royals officer's uniform. And they were out here last night, actually, those people in the crowd. Some of them I spoke to earlier were thrilled to bits that Prince William came out looking so relaxed, clearly having a lovely time. Prince Harry as well, and Camilla came out and spoke to many of them as well on what was a freezing night. It's still really cold here in the Mall this morning. But they're enjoying it, as you can see. Couple more minutes, the cars are already inside. Can you hear them?
So we're just waiting for those cars to fire up, and that's what's keeping everybody going there, I suppose, in the cold and the weather as it is, Lorna. But I thought a lovely touch from both the lads last night to come out and spend that time and press the flesh. It goes a long way, and it was very, very much appreciated, wasn't it?
Really appreciated, Eamon. I met earlier on an 80-year-old woman who camped out last night. She was freezing cold, but it kept her going. She said she had a lovely chat with William. He did all the talking, asked her lots of questions, and it really just made the whole event for her. And she still sat over there now, waiting for the car to come out. And I've asked these people here why they've chosen this spot, and they say, you know, it's all about William. We want to see William. So I know lots of people do want to see Kate, the dress, what her hair's like, what flowers she's got, but these people here are really focusing on William. I'll tell you, actually, Eamon, another quite funny thing. I've seen lots of signs saying, Prince Harry's still free, marry me, Harry. A lot of people holding out hope.
There's even people saying that they think William should marry Charlotte Hawkins here as well. They're tweeting it as well, but that is a bit ridiculous. I'm very interested. My grandfather was in the Irish Guard, so I'm very pleased that he's got that symbolism with him today, Lorna.
Yeah, and isn't it a fantastic uniform? I mean, the bright red, and I mean, people are questioning whether it's a tribute to the battalion which recently came back from Afghanistan, and maybe it is, but it's a fantastic uniform. Eamon, he's going to be carrying a gold sword sling with him, but no sword. We thought they might have frisked him at the Abbey Door if he was going to try and take a sword in. It must be time. What do you reckon, Eamon? I've got 11 minutes past. Well,
they say it runs like clockwork. It is without doubt, though, an historic day, and the people know that. They know it is the marriage of our future king. And when you think about it, Lorna, we haven't had one of those since 1981, when the economy was in recession, there was crisis in the Middle East, and Bruce Forsyth was knocking them dead on a Saturday night. And things obviously haven't changed, have they?
Clearly not, Eamon. Do you know what? You wouldn't know that people are worried about jobs, they're worried about health service, they're worried about policing. There is such a party atmosphere, and I know the people that are going to come to the Mall, they're going to come to these events because they support what is going on. You're not going to get the cynics at occasions like this. But it's the camaraderie as well, Eamon, the friendliness of everybody at these events. You walk along and they've met new friends and they've been chatting, they've been up all night with them. So many people here have had no sleep at all. And it's, oh, here we go. Massive surge towards the fences.
Prince William of Wales, now the Duke of Cambridge, travelling with his brother Prince Harry, both wearing military uniform, and for the first time, Prince William wearing the uniform as Colonel of the Irish Guards. All the way down the Mall from Buckingham Palace in the background with the great royal standard flying. Both princes are wearing forage caps of their regiments. And when they approach the end of the Mall, they'll turn right on Horse Guards Approach Road towards Horse Guards itself. Prince William is wearing the uniform of the Irish Guards, the blue sash. He was made the 1000th Knight of the Garter by the Queen in 2008. And with him, His Royal Highness Prince Harry, wearing the uniform as captain in the Blues and Royals, past the Guards Memorial to the right, and then down the centre of Horse Guards. The car will pass underneath Horse Guards Arch, above which is the office that used to be used by the last Duke of Cambridge when he was Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. And waiting for him in the tilt yard, the Queen's Lifeguard has turned out to salute His Royal Highness. And into Whitehall, where more crowds waiting to see the first glimpse of the bridegroom. Just passing there, the equestrian statue of Earl Haig. And shortly they'll pass the Cenotaph, which is the nation's war memorial and which has great significance for all military people. And they salute. Into Parliament Street, past all the government offices, and then into Parliament Square and the statue of Winston Churchill. For the Prince, he wanted to come to the Abbey early in order to see all his friends before the service begins. The salutes that the princes give are to colours along the route of the regiments that have formed up in order later on to give their salute on the return journey. Just as his great-grandparents and his grandparents. So Prince William, in the line of succession to the throne, comes to the Abbey of Kings, where he will be married in the next hour and a half.
and the bells began to peal here at Westminster Abbey. The crowd went absolutely wild, many of them waiting 3 or 4 days on the chilly spring pavements here to get their first glimpse of the bridegroom. Looking a little nervous.
I know, but I have to say, there's so much talk about the dress, but when you see these 2 young princes arrive in full regimental uniform, I mean, it's incredible. This is very much their moment.
Well, it looks as if we've got a wedding. No going back now for Wills. Very dapper, very resplendent. The Air Force represented there with the sash, and the Irish Guards with the tunic. What do you think, Charlotte?
Yeah, well, it's the important part, isn't it? So we've got one half of the couple there already, only Kate yet to arrive, and they do look incredibly smart, and he is wearing the Royal Navy #1 dress there. So, yeah, he's having a few words with the Dean as they prepare to make their way down to the front of the Abbey, no doubt. Prince Harry there, looking a little bit nervous, actually. Of course, he's got a big role to do. He's looking after Kate's ring. Prince William isn't going to be wearing a ring.
Sure he's got it.
They're just, yes, let's hope so. They're just walking past the tomb of the unknown soldier there in Westminster Abbey. Those 2 boys, incredibly close.
They are.
Very, very close. It's nice to see him in uniform of the Irish Guards for the very first time. He's just taken on the colonelcy of that regiment. He's wearing his garter sash. He's got his pilot's wings attached to the garter sash, and we'll see him again in full rig come trooping the colour.
And Alistair Bruce has seen him up close and personal.
Led into the choir by the Receiver General, Sir Stephen Lamport, who used to be the private secretary to the Prince of Wales and known well to both princes when they were much younger. Surrounded by his friends and family now. And just ahead, we get a chance to see the Cosmati pavement with the fold stools where he will kneel with Catherine during the service of matrimony later on. He's now going to meet Sarah McCorquodale, his aunt, sister of Diana, Princess of Wales. Harry also getting the chance to talk to other members of his Spencer relations. All around this area, which was designed for coronations, you can see the memoria to former prime ministers and artists and great statesmen. Earl Spencer and his nephew Prince Harry, perhaps imparting some advice to a best man, and the younger members of the family in the background who Prince Harry would know well. The Sultan of Brunei led in one of the visiting heads of state. The Prince will now move towards the chapel in the ambulatory, which has been set aside for him. He has planned to come out with Prince Harry to meet more of his friends during the preparation, but in the ambulatory there is a place for them to sit and be quiet, and for the Prince just to prepare himself for the marriage and for the arrival of his future wife. All the foreign royal families who were with Her Majesty the Queen yesterday evening are now being escorted in. There's the King of Tonga, King George V of Tonga, and the Prince of Monaco, Prince Rainier, and his future wife, who'll be marrying later on this year. King George V of Tonga, who was crowned not long ago in his island state. Carol Middleton, the mother of the bride, with her son James, who'll be reading the lesson during the service.
Goring Hotel, just 9 minutes or so away. Mrs. Middleton on her way with her son. What is she wearing?
She is wearing a beautiful Catherine Walker dress, which I think is very symbolic, Catherine Walker being a real favourite of Princess Diana's. So I know there was some speculation about what she'd worn. She'd chosen a couple of outfits, but she's the mother of the bride. I think this is definitely her prerogative. She knows the world's eyes will be upon her, and she wants to get that dress absolutely right. And Catherine Walker, who sadly died last year, her legacy's continued. Her husband continues to design for the label. But of course they have so much experience of dressing for these occasions. And she's wearing a hat by Jane Corbett, who's a local hat maker from her area. So a nice mix of international and local talent.
We should see the dress in its glory very shortly indeed, as I said, about 9 minutes or so from the Goring Hotel, where the Middleton family spent their last night, Catherine her last night as a single woman, in the £5,000 a night suite there, which I'm sure is pretty fabulous. Apparently there's even a picture of Blackadder on the wall in the bathroom. Not quite sure what she would have made of that, kissing the hand of Elizabeth I. And we should see Catherine in about 35 minutes.
And as regards the dress and what everybody is speculating about, we hear the bookmakers are paying out, Charlotte.
Yes, I've just had a tweet in the last few minutes from Paddy Power, the bookmakers, and they have said that they are paying out on Sarah Burton as the dress designer for that all-important wedding dress. Now, that was, of course, the designer that everybody thought it was going to be, Sarah Burton at Alexandra McQueen. So Paddy Power tweeting that they are paying out on Sarah Burton being the dress designer of Catherine Middleton, and we will be seeing that dress in just a few moments' time.
Yeah, well, 20 minutes or so. You know, I know this is a wedding like no other, but it's making a lot of you feel very slushy, bringing a lot of memories back to so many of you. Tweeting in today saying, this is reminding me of my wedding day. Not my wedding day, I mean your wedding day, I mean by that. And Sarah Hughes, our royal correspondent, you've got your wedding day ahead of you.
Yes.
Is this making you all more eager?
Well, it's not going to be quite on this scale, Eamon. Will you be coming to present a special programme for mine, I wonder?
Goodness knows who you'd be inviting. Now, when Mrs. Middleton does get out of that car, again, being the mother of the bride, a lot of pressure on her, and you know, this is an extraordinary situation. This woman, former cabin crew, air hostess with British Airways, you know, now a successful businesswoman, but there she is, look at that. The Mall to herself, the police outriders, and the eyes of the world bearing down, and they're all going to say, do we like her hat, do we like her outfit, or do we not?
And when she gave birth to Catherine Middleton some 29 years ago, do you think she ever could have imagined that she would be making this journey up the Mall towards Westminster Abbey to see her daughter marry a future king? It really is quite an extraordinary moment for them.
It's a fairy tale, isn't it? I mean, it's probably every mother's dream that her daughter is going to marry a prince, and lo and behold, here we are.
And for Michael Middleton, Kate's father, who is still with her at the Goring Hotel, will be travelling with her in the Rolls-Royce Phantom 6 just before 11 o'clock, and he will be walking his daughter up the aisle. An extremely nerve-wracking moment for him, although he's a very calm gentleman by nature, isn't he?
He is calm, but you know, it's a nerve-wracking experience for any father to walk a daughter down the aisle. I did it with mine, and you do shed a tear.
Yeah, but he'll not be shedding too many tears because they're one of the few mother and fathers-in-law in the world who don't have to worry if the son-in-law's good prospects, are they? Alistair.
While the mother of the bride is on her way to the Abbey, we're watching other members of the foreign royal families who are attending coming in as the British royal family now leaves Buckingham Palace. A number of motor coaches to bring them from the palace to the Abbey itself. There are 4 in all, and this brings the more junior members of the royal family and relations. They all gathered there over the hours of the morning, coming in from different homes around London. Turning now through South Africa Gate and down the long length of the Mall. The Mall used to just be a muddy track where King Charles II used to go and play a game called Pell Mell, and hence the word Mall comes from that. Pell stood for ball and Mell stood for mallet, and so members of the Duke of Gloucester's family. The back there, the Earl and Countess of Ulster. They'll head towards Admiralty Arch and turn right, following the route that we've seen everyone else pass. There's Autumn Kelly, married to Peter Phillips. She recently had a child who's being looked after by its nanny in the palace at the moment. She's called Susanna. Meanwhile, the bride's mother arriving in Parliament Square for her to have said goodbye to her daughter at the Goring Hotel this morning and wishing her well before such a change in her life. For any mother, a major moment to prepare herself now to witness the ceremony, travelling with her son, James, who will be reading this lesson during the middle of the marriage service, and arriving outside the Abbey where Kay's waiting.
We'll just take a moment, should we, Alistair, just to see Carol get out of the car, Mrs. Middleton get out of the car, and just listen to the crowds. As I said, many who've been waiting for 4 days for this occasion. Thankfully, the weather has stayed fine for them. Thankfully, too, for the mother of the bride.
Favourite of the late Princess Diana. I think the wonderful thing you notice when she steps out of the car is you understand where Kate Middleton got those incredible legs from.
Tell us about the dress.
It's a silk Catherine Walker coat dress, and with it she's wearing a Jane Corbett hat, which is made by a local milliner from Buckinghamshire.
Controversy over what she was going to wear, as I remember.
Well, apparently she had another couple of options, and one of them was by Linda Keirac, who had famously done Sarah Ferguson's wedding dress. But apparently Carol wanted to show it to her friends, as well you might on such a special day. And Linka apparently wouldn't allow her to take the dress away from the studio until it was finished, so that's apparently what changed her mind. But you never know, this is all speculation. I mean, Catherine Walker, just a perfect choice for Mother of the Bride.
It's certainly an occasion for the people who are just below us here, and I must just point out to some of our viewers who perhaps saw the lovely lady from San Francisco yesterday in the pink outfit and the white hat, who'd been here for 4 days to witness the arrival of Kate Middleton. She saw Prince William arrive and it was all too much for her. Sadly, she fainted and she's been stretchered away, so she won't, Alistair, after all, see Kate Middleton arrive.
And Carol and James have now been introduced not only to the chapter of Westminster, but also to the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Bishop of London. The Dean, the Very Reverend Dr. John Hall, now handed them into the company of one of the gentlemen ushers, who will lead them up, Rear Admiral Cook Priest. All the Middleton family, apart from Catherine, were here yesterday for a rehearsal, and the carpet had not then been laid, so or Carol the chance to see her daughter's vision for this abbey in its splendour. The gentlemen ushers who do the escorting at the abbey were founded originally in Plantagenet times to act as escorts to any dignitaries or members of the royal family who are moving in court processions, and this has been continued to this day. And meanwhile at Buckingham Palace, more departures of the royal family. We'll have Their Royal Highnesses the Duke of York with Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice. And in the next car behind will be the Earl and Countess of Wessex. And then in the third car, the Princess Royal with Admiral Timothy Lawrence. First car, the Duke of York's, with the distinctive coat of arms of the Duke of York. And it'll take a few minutes for that procession to make its way all the way through the processional route to Westminster Abbey itself. So the uncles and aunts are on their way. The whole mall dressed with the Union flag. There's the Duke of York in the first car, followed by the Wessexes, and then by the Princess Royal.
So, Sarah,
yeah, this is the Duke and Duchess of Kent just arriving in Westminster Abbey at the moment, and I think behind them we can see Prince Michael of Kent following on shortly afterwards.
It's a very rare outing for the Duchess of Kent. She very rarely appears. She's very much involved in her teaching piano, and to see her here today is good news, and to see them alongside each other. This is really the rest of the family coming. They've arrived in minibuses.
Yes, the younger Kents as well arriving here.
And Mike Tyndall and Zara Phillips, they're getting married in July.
Yes, I wonder if this will make them feel rather nervous about their own impending nuptials.
Well, they might sort of change the venue and do something a bit bigger than they've already planned. But nice to see them there.
And Peter and Autumn Phillips.
And they had their daughter Savannah was christened last Saturday. The Queen was there for the christening. It was nice to see. Lovely picture when they came out of the chapel in Gloucestershire.
of which Alistair Bruce will tell us more.
All the royal family have the chance now to be organised in procession by the gentlemen ushers after they've met the Dean and Chapter, as the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall leave Clarence House. For the Prince of Wales, who's decided to wear the uniform of a full admiral in the Royal Navy. He wore naval uniform for most of the great occasions that he attends. A Rolls-Royce that saw quite a lot of damage during a riot recently in central London, been fully restored for today. That's the Duke of York just passing the Cenotaph and approaching Parliament Street and then into Parliament Square, while the Prince of Wales still on the Mall. They actually mix a synthetic iron oxide pigment into the making of the tarmac of the Mall, which makes it red, providing a sort of carpet all the way down from Buckingham Palace and into Parliament Square for the uncles and aunts, and round past St Margaret's, Westminster. The Duke of York was married here at Westminster Abbey, so he will have given some advice, no doubt, to his nephew, Prince William, on the ceremonial that he will take part in later on. And the Dean of Westminster waiting at the west door for the arrival of the princes and princesses.
Increasingly excited outside Westminster Abbey now. The bells pealing at the start and the end of the service because the monarch is attending, of course, today to see her grandson marry. Look at these hats. Tell me more about them.
Well, this really is Philip Tracy's moment. I mean, he's dressed nearly all of the inner circle of the royal family, apart from two, I think. So this is an incredible moment. Oh yes, I mean, Princess Beatrice's hat is just exquisite, goes beautifully with her nude ensemble, and you can see the Queen
in yellow, as predicted by the bookies, it has to be said, so Absolutely. They won't be paying out too much on that one.
No, I mean, if you think of how many of these occasions she's had to sort of handle, I mean, she understands the sartorial requirements like no one.
Her Majesty the Queen, accompanied by the Duke of Edinburgh, wearing quite appropriately the uniform as Colonel of the Grenadier Guards and Senior Colonel of the Household Division. In 1947, it was Princess Elizabeth who left on this journey to meet Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten at Westminster Abbey for her marriage. And now, a grandmother and a grandfather. Prince of Wales now coming round into Broad Sanctuary from Parliament Square with the Duchess of Cornwall. And the pages in military uniform of the Irish Guards, presumably getting into the cars ready to go on. And I suppose there we get our first chance, Kay, to see a hint as to what the bride will be wearing. And Lucy will probably have some views seeing the bridesmaids.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, the latest I heard, and Nikki McFarlane, who apparently specialises in fairy tale creations, and they're certainly that.
Well, that's what we hear, and the exciting thing is that, I mean, often they give a chance, they give a glimpse of what the bride's going to be wearing.
We'll talk about that in a second, but let's pause for Camilla and Charles.
Camilla looks fabulous.
services received by the Dean of Westminster. This is a royal peculiar. That means that St. Peter's Collegiate Church of Westminster Abbey is answerable only to the monarch, and that's why the Dean always leads everything in this church. And Martin Castledown, who is the Dean's Verger, waiting in the centre of our shot, who will be leading most of the significant processions today. The Prince and the Duchess will now be introduced to the chapter. They are the governing body of the Abbey, while Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh now making their way down the Mall and towards Horse Guards Approach Road. This morning at 8 o'clock, Her Majesty the Queen created her grandson, Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, Earl of Strathearn and Baron Carrickfergus, 3 titles that he will carry to the altar as the salute from the Queen's Lifeguard. And the Queen's Lifeguard always turn out in the tilt yard there after Queen Victoria came through once and they weren't prepared. And she said, right, you'll turn out and be inspected every afternoon at 4 o'clock. And that's been done for more than 100 years. She sentenced them to 100 years and they've done it now for nearly 140. Down the Mall and past the Women at War Memorial, that large black memorial in the centre of Whitehall, to recall all the women who served in achieving victory during the Second World War. The Ministry of Defence on the left-hand side of our shot, and other departments, and Downing Street too, as the Queen coming to her church, where she was married to Prince Philip and where she was crowned in 1953. Pages and bridesmaids coming past Buckingham Palace. And they will travel the same route that the Queen has taken. These old daimlers that used to belong to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, brought into service for another generation. As Her Majesty the Queen turns into Parliament Square and then towards Broad Sanctuary, where Kay Burley is waiting.
Just a few moments now and we'll see Her Majesty alight from her Rolls-Royce. The crowd will go absolutely wild. Tell us what outfit she'll be wearing.
She's wearing a dress by her official dresser, Angela Kelly, who apparently designed 2 dresses for her to choose from this morning. It's in pale lemon. Looks amazing next to the Duke of Edinburgh's Grenadier Guards outfit.
Majesty walks into the Abbey. The royal standard is broken out above the Abbey. State trumpet. Queen and Prince of Wales will be formed up in procession and led up the aisle by the Dean, the Very Reverend John Hall, and led by the Dean's Verger, Martin Castledown. And meanwhile at the Goring, getting ready now for the departure of the bride. Every attempt has been made to ensure that she can climb into the rolls without being spotted. She'll be leaving at exactly 10:50. And as I said at the beginning of the day, I think we'll see everything done exactly to time.
Well, most girls grow up dreaming of being a princess. Some of you listening today may have that dream. You're now going to see one girl for whom that is going to be a reality. Kate Middleton living the dream today. The dress, we're getting a glimpse of it. What do you think?
I think it looks beautiful, and you can see there the lace detailing at the top, full length sleeves as we'd expected, a long veil and detailing at the edge of that as well, and a full skirt. No doubt there's a train there as well, and the bookmaker Paddy Power, we were hearing just a short time ago, is paying out on it being a Sarah Burton dress as expected.
Well, we don't know if there's any sign of a tiara on there yet, but Lucy Yeomans, you must have your thoughts as to who that's by and what it looks like.
Well, all the signs are the fact that it is made with such beautiful craftsmanship, the use of lace, show that it possibly is McQueen. I don't think we'll really know that until she steps out of the car. But it's as we expected, a sleeve, a very modest a waistline, but yards of gorgeous lace around her shoulders, which is so flattering and beautiful. We can't quite make out the tiara yet, but I made out some beautiful drop diamond earrings.
There's quite a few options as far as tiaras are concerned.
There are three options. I think the favourite one is the Russian fringe. Someone actually bet £6,000 that she would wear it.
But the same as the Queen wore for her wedding.
Queen wore for her wedding. But there's also the Cambridge Lover's Knot, which, given that her new title is the Duchess of Cambridge, and it was also a tiara worn by the late Princess of Wales, could also be another option for today.
Actually, I think given as a wedding gift by the Queen to the Princess of Wales, but she felt it was a little bit too heavy, so decided not to wear it for her wedding.
Well, who knows what Kate will decide today. It could be another fitting tribute. She looks absolutely exquisite. It's very natural, though. It doesn't look like it looks incredibly slender, very typical of Kate's style.
And as far as the bouquet is concerned,
we know that Kate's very into the symbolism of all the flowers in the bouquet, and Solomon's seal, which is one of the flowers of love, is something she very much wanted to be in the bouquet.
Apparently there's also a sprig of myrtle from a bush grown from the original myrtle in Queen Victoria's wedding bouquet.
Yes, this sprig of myrtle has apparently been in every royal bride's bouquet since Queen Victoria, and again that's the herb of love, so again beautiful symbolism.
She doesn't toss the bouquet, does she?
No, she leaves it potentially at the tomb of the unknown soldier, which is again another royal tradition.
was actually, I think, first introduced by the Queen Mother, our late Queen Mother, who spontaneously left it at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, her brother having died in the First World War. And ever since, royal brides have returned their bouquets.
Buckingham Palace as the Rolls makes its way here. Absolutely delirious. Dickie Arbiter, can you get a glimpse of that tiara? Can you identify that one for us?
Well, it's very difficult to see the tiara because it's covered by the veil. And all I can say is if it is the fringe tiara, it started life as a piece, as a necklace owned by Queen Victoria. She gave it to her daughter-in-law, Queen Mary, who in 1919 had it broken up and made into a tiara. And the first outing it had was late Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, in 1923 when she married Prince Albert. Subsequently, it's been worn by the Queen at her wedding. The Queen lent it to Princess Royal in 1973, and this will be its kind of fourth outing on a royal wedding, if indeed it is the fringe tiara.
And interesting that she's wearing a tiara on the way there. There had been some speculation that she may have worn some sort of floral headdress, flowers in her hair, as she went to the Abbey as a commoner and then changed into a tiara later.
Yes. And we see she's wearing her hair down, and we know that she said she wanted Prince William to recognise her. Her hair is really her statement. The bridesmaids look, Pippa Middleton, Kate's sister, leading the two youngest bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Grace Van Cutsum and Eliza Lopez, the two littlest.
Tell us more, Alistair.
Well, for Philippa Middleton, a wonderful opportunity to do something very precious for her sister, who now makes her way down the Mall. A journey of change for a young woman. This Rolls-Royce was given to the Queen for her Silver Jubilee with wonderful glass back, which enables much more light to come in, and that's why it's so perfect, so that we can all see Catherine as she makes her way with her dad, Mike Middleton. An enormous contingent there from Scotland waving saltires as the bride makes her way into Horse Guards Parade. Waiting at the Abbey, Philippa Middleton with those two youngest bridesmaids who will only make their way up the aisle and then complete their task later on. And a salute for her as she comes through from the lifeguards. The only way through that normally used to be if you had an ivory pass or you were the monarch. Nowadays it's impossible to pass through it for security reasons. She really does look incredibly relaxed as she makes her way towards Parliament Square down Whitehall. Now for Mike Middleton, who has nurtured and protected his daughter all her life, along with his wife Carol, bringing her now to the Abbey as plain Miss Catherine Middleton. When she arrives at the door of the Abbey, his last responsibility as a father will be to lead her steadily up the great length of Henry III's Westminster Abbey and hand her to Prince William, now the Duke of Cambridge. And as they turn into Parliament Square, the crowds waiting outside the Abbey itself will have a chance to welcome her and give her their best wishes on her wedding day, along with the bells.
Elizabeth Middleton, arriving a commoner in 1¼ hours' time, leaving as the Princess William of Wales and the Duchess of Cambridge. Lucy, what a magnificent gown.
It's absolutely incredible. And after weeks and weeks, if not months of speculation, we've discovered that the dress is indeed by Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen. I mean, really, this is going to be the dress of the decade, if not the century. And it's absolutely exquisite. It's ivory and white silk gazelle with an incredible lace bodice. The crowds are amazing. They certainly love it. And all the lace was embroidered by the lace workers at the Royal School of Needlework, which is based in Hampton Court Palace. But it's just exquisite. It's very modern, but yet it has a real sense of drama. I mean, it's beautiful, really beautiful. I'm almost weeping. It's so special.
Shortly the procession of the bride will begin to the tune "I was glad when they said unto me, we will go into the house of the Lord" by Charles Hubert Hastings Parry. The Dean was going to wait until both Catherine and her father were ready, and only then he will turn, and so will the Dean's Verger, and lead them up this red-carpeted aisle, where, at the moment, the anthem begins. Prince William and Prince Harry will take their position at the top of the steps, waiting for the bride. When they reach the altar itself, the hymn